Hello, my friends. Late night. This is me again, and you might think that I have a important message which is conveyed in a very unimportant way. That is true. But something needed to be said, and I wanted to say it now. And I don't know how that will go. Otherwise, then someone promotes me. I mean the idea. So it's late. It's late. I've been working. I've been listening to lies. I don't know whether it's lie or truth. I have to be honest. The thing about Putin, the thing about Ukraine, I say that there are children working in the Chernobyl reactor. They have Nazists and been there for hundreds of years. So Putin and Russia wanted to put things straight. And this guy from Russia, he lied through his teeth and said something like, Putin is going to set everything in order. He is going to straighten it out. The big complot with NATO, UN and all this kind of stuff. Now Putin is going to set things straight. And he is not going to attack Ukraine. But what is happening? I think I leave the subject because it's so hard to talk about what Putin wants when people are suffering, when Russians are bombing hospitals. That is something you can't get through to your mind. So I will talk about time, a little bit about time. Because time, this forever created miracle. And I believe that the creation is in time. And you can't, we get very easily disappointed with what's not going to happen. We don't believe that things will happen because we have this wishful thinking which will not come through. And that is, let me just get a pill. I go for this. It's kind of sore throat. So, the time is non-definable. You can't define time because time is this minute entity or frame which everybody belongs to. We belong to the time, frame of time. So, as I have said before, if we were just a half a second outside that frame, just a half a second, you will not see anything. Everything is created within this time frame. And I think what everybody is buggling about is finding a way to figure out what time really is. because things are happening and you can predict quite a bit. You can predict what is going to happen. You can know something which is which can be kind of deep, but the creation stands for itself. It never stops. What about the seventh day when God rested on that day? Well, I don't. Maybe the day is like 1,000 years. So the seventh day have not yet reached. It's in the future. So still God is creating, and the seventh day hasn't appeared. I don't know which day we are in now, which night, which day. It's going to be night. Regarding the war in Ukraine and maybe the threats that is coming, but we can't know. But it says on the seventh day God rested. But I think that is way out in the future. Until now, it has been a creation. What the Jews are doing is just predicting their future. They like to predict the future. That's what they do. They love to predict it because they want to be about time. They want to define time. They have so much interesting things to say about time. But still we are in a creational loop that have never stopped from day one. The description of in the Bible, it's kind of what the Christians are talking about when we have lived 7,000 years. On the 7,000, we are going to have forever peace. Will the time stop? I don't know. Maybe the time will stop and we will be in that spatial realm for 1,000 years. I don't know. I have no clue. But for me, it's very interesting that things that are existing exist in a time frame, and you can't exclude that kind of realm to be just a self-independent creation that is there. No, it's within a time frame, and the time, as I have been elaborating on, not from a scientific point of view, but it is scientific as well. I think that the time is so fluctual, is so multifaceted, multi-world, multi-realms, that we can understand that we have experienced the past, present, and we will experience the future. We live in so to say, in a futuristic way, but we still are in the present moment. And you get some feeling sometime that you are going to experience something that is going to happen. When I was back in Kenya, I was back from school, and I heard a little bit noise outside, and I sat and studied my homework there in the room of mine. One bed, maybe a chair with a table, a simple table, and that was my room. And as I sat there, I suddenly jumped high up, and after I jumped, I heard a bang. I heard a sound that was kind of what can we say? I heard it before. I didn't hear it before. I reacted before I heard it. So when I jumped, I didn't know why I did jump. Suddenly I heard this bang. So that is kind of a predictory. I can never forget that moment because it was so profound. It wouldn't be something I invent just for the pure fun of it. No, that would be just making myself look stupid. But that was, in fact, what I experienced, and I went out, and I said, "What is happening here?" And I wanted to tell them that I jumped. I reacted before I heard the big bang. So they were killing a monkey there, which was turning crazy. So it was a gross description of it. So that I never forget that too. A lot of kids that was joining there, and we were not to see what was going on because it was a killing scene of a monkey. So see, the missionary there had a lot of guns. I didn't like that. I didn't feel that was good. I had some fear back then that I was to be killed. Terminally afraid. And that was part of my fears out there. That either it was lions, snakes, or a gun. Someone was to kill me. But that didn't happen. That was a weird thought. I couldn't even believe. But you see, you get something in your mind that can be very devastating. So for many, many years I had these scary thoughts that was tormenting me, haunting me, and I could never be at peace. I could never really be relaxed. I was always afraid. If it's not this that would shoot me, it was that. And that's how distant I felt from my parents, my siblings, and all those people that were missionaries. I didn't get the intimate connection with them. They were just figures that never knew me. I was so ashamed of myself that I couldn't even face myself, how I was. And I was very deep reflective guy. I reflected on many things, and I tried to understand, kneeling down and trying to find the reality in grass. The grass that grew on the field of Thessalia. I bowed down and looked at it and studied it and wondered if it's real. So that was kind of philosophic mindset I got by back then, and I think some of it remains up to this day because you see, there are so much mystery to their life. We are in a mysterious realm that we can't really point at to say, this is it, this is what it is. No, everything has some holes. And some rabbi back in the times, he said that I will find a loophole in every statement that you make. He was a kind of a brilliant guy because he knew that the human condition knows so much, but it is still very limited. If he could see everything that is in the reality, even, you see, just to be short and clear, everything have its own vibration. And there are matters that we can't see. You know that. The scientists even admit that there are matters that we can't see. And what you know, the time have also created that. The time had to create that. The time did create it. And it is creating now. So, you see, all the religious stuff that we tend to want to be in connection with. As long as we are connected with ourselves in the time frame of now, we will understand more that there is more to it than we can see. And we will kneel down and pray and beg, forgive us for all the sins we did in doubting you, doubting the time. The time will tell. The time is now. And you have to depend on time. I don't use God because it's more relevant to use time. The time is changing, yeah, but it's still the same. It's still the same time. This time is steady going. It's steady. It's wow. The time doesn't change. The time is wow, a momentous experience. And you can believe that I have grown old. I have achieved all this stuff. And well, maybe you have, but still you are dependent on time. I was confronted here the other day that a man, he had this education and he wanted to stab me down because he was so well educated. Well, I don't believe in education if you don't really know what the education is all about. And what can we say about education which is not so obvious for those educated people that show off with their education and think they can push people around because they are educated? They have no recollection of time. The time, it's not the time that is changing. I'm completely wrong. I have to arrest myself. The time is steady and it's a singularity. The only thing that is changing is the impact of time. All the matter that time is impacting is changing. So the time is not changing, it's a singularity. But you see, this singularity have this impact on the matter that can change from from water to wine, or the other way around. And I saw an example on that. Yes, a guy that wanted to try a car on a vodka. I don't know what he did. Yeah, brake fluid. He was running on brake fluid. But now he tried this vodka. And it was very strong. And vodka could run the car. So, a kind of parallel to that, water can be wine. And as he said, vodka is more or less only water. But yeah. So you see, the time is this singularity that is impacting everything, everyone. So this the meeting with time, the time's meeting with the elements, is doing all these weird things that we are experiencing all the time. So God is a funny entity. He is doing all sort of thing that we wouldn't even believe that is going to appear, yet it's there. It's just there. Why do you doubt when you have God, when you have the time that you can dwell on? The time that you have is something of importance, because everybody have time. What if time stopped? I don't think in the 1,000 years I was talking about the peace, the God is resting. I think it's a kind of maybe he's going to send us in a loop, that we live for 1,000 years. I don't know. I have no clue. But it's written in the New Testament that, or also the Old, because the Jews are referring to the same thing, that in God's eyes, one day can be as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years can be as one day. So that is kind of what they call it. It's a change time. That's when the time is change. It's kind of a going from some way in some form to change, to do something very, very different. So that is the quality of time. That is like that. And you can't change. We people can't really, I don't know whether we can do it or not, but I would think that we can't change the track of time. We can just be the impact that time does impact on. So what can we say in continuous way? Because every moment I am here, why does this make all this kind of noise? We have to stop it. We have to stop this telegram. So it's something sacred. I think it's something very, very deep. The understanding that I have about time, and I would love to dwell on it more. I would everything exists because of time. The time is keeping it steady going. And we were talking about some glitch the other day because my knife trackless was disappearing. I didn't see it until I just took it and hold it in my hand out of nowhere. So that is kind of that glitch in time. Maybe that glitch is all about how things can be turn around, mirroring. That it's kind of a mirror in front of us, but we can't see behind that kind of mirror. And I was maybe on the edge of that time, maybe a quarter of a second in advance, so that I can turn off this sound. So that I wouldn't recognize anything that was concerning this knife, or that knife was moved into a spatial realm frame that was not in my spatial time frame. So that is I just made it up, but it's it's a good way to go around it, because you don't really know, you can't really figure it out without explaining it in a very sane way, that things that are disappearing is in a different space-time. So now we know a little bit more about space-time, and a little bit more about that we are dependent on time. So all what you need to do when you go around being nice, doing good, it's the time will bless it. The time will bless you, because you are acting according to time. Because time is a giving force. It's what it has to do. It's by the nature of time. It's kind of a giving force, giving out what it's sent to reach. And it's meant to reach you, my friend. It's meant to reach me. It's meant to reach the world, so that we can be a blessing. Do good. That is the signal that the time told me. Ole, if you do good, this will be your blessing. And I would like to understand that more. I hope that I can do it, but until then I have to back off, because you can't get everything now. But now you can get it now, but not now. So that is a conundrum of itself. You can't reach so far, but giving it time, so you will get to understand it more. And I'm happy that time exists. If not, you will not exist. I will not exist. Which is best? I don't know. My friend, don't ask me so many questions. Which is best, that you or I exist? I think that is left for you to answer, because your life have to be important too. And the more relevant you are being, the more important you seem to be after all. The relevance of you. The relevance of you is by your pure fact of being you. I was talking about that earlier on, to be you. And we have to be us during the time we have, and that's a blessing. That will be a blessing. I like to talk about blessing, because, as you know, everything is blessed. because of the appearance of time.